What's up, guys? Cedo Cards here with another video. Okay, so this one actually is probably going to be similar sort of length to all the other ones I do, which is around 25 to 30 minutes, it seems. I do want to try hone it in to between 20 and 25 minutes, but I am not doing a good job. But first of all, I want to say, guys, thank you so much for two things. One, we have hit 24 subscribers. A few videos prior, I had, asked maybe we can hit 20 by the end of this week. It is 5 p.m. Thursday. This may come out tomorrow, might come out later today. And we have hit 24 already. So I did say maybe we do 30 if I did hit 20. So maybe, but I'm very thankful for that. Secondly, again, the views as well. You guys are really watching it. It seems it's coming only not just from suggestions, but also search as well. So it's nice to see that it's been picked up again by the algorithm, and you guys are interested and subscribing. So just wanted to say thank you. Second one. So this is the second one that's arrived. The first one that arrived, I wanted to open it on camera yesterday. I had tried, but actually the webcam I'm using, I had essentially bought a second to try a video, do both. So one camera looking at me, the other camera looking at my hands, so you can see my reaction. I didn't realize actually that this camera doesn't have autofocus. So essentially when I was opening the packs and I was showing it to the camera, it wasn't zooming in, it wasn't focusing. So it was a terrible experience. So I said, never mind, I'll just rip it personally. I didn't get many hits, to be honest. I didn't get any overnumbered. I got a little alt art, some alt runes, nothing crazy, but I will do an unboxing of that video of that. The camera that focuses should arrive later today. Sorry about my may have been quiet. Should arrive later today, and yeah, that should be. I'll rip that and show that on camera. Anyway, today again we are seeing movements in the market now. It's almost fair to say people are receiving their boxes now from vendors. It's fair to say the market has begun. Ultimately, it is still a day before release, but vendors are dispatching their boxes. People are receiving it. So I'm interested in what we are seeing in terms of card sales, in terms of listings as well. We are seeing more and more cards up in the market, particularly signature cards. And we are seeing more sales of those and price increases on those. So I do want to take a look at that. First off, we are seeing increases in prices in the booster boxes. So this video, I won't go over the individual booster box prices. I will look at that another day, maybe on Saturday. But we are seeing a premium in the booster box cases. Of course, that's always existed in TCGs and Pokemon. If you have a case, it's usually an odd 20% higher than had you have purchased it as 6 individual booster boxes. But we are seeing a premium here as well. Prices have been climbing, but we do see that it has reached 1.5k, which is roughly 250 per box. So again, we are seeing that climb again back up to those prices we had seen earlier in the month. So we are seeing that the demand is picking up to the point that people are willing to purchase that amount in batches of 6 as well. So that's an interesting one to keep an eye out on. I will start to track the booster box cases as well. So far, I have just been tracking the individual boxes, but I think it is fascinating to track the booster box cases. I will be receiving 2 cases myself. I will post a video once they arrive. In fact, I will make a short for the booster box as well. I think I will start to create more YouTube shorts because I think there is no harm in doing both. But anyway, moving on to the market, we have seen the World's Bundle as well pick up at 250, and that one here at 250. Again, we saw one at maybe 280 on the initial day, and I think that was a bit of an anomaly. Someone was just very desperate to have a box. We have seen it steadily at 200, but we have now started to see a few at 250. So again, a minor creep up, and again, it's just showing the demand and the appetite for these boxes. And again, this is a bundle that commemorates the the World's tournament for League of Legends. It's a tournament that can gather 90,000 in a stadium. It is a very strong. The brand for the World tournaments are very strong. So it's no surprise that there is the appetite for spending a hefty ton. Moving on to the trial deck for Riftbound 2025. So we are seeing price increases, continuing. The last time we had looked at it, we had seen it at $580. We are now seeing $800. Again, I mentioned in a few videos ago the opportunity within these boxes. Perhaps not this box, but you could also go for the individual decks. But we are seeing a climb now at 800. And again, if I do go back to the point I discussed earlier, start of September, we're looking at $200 for Cedo 4. We had started to see it climb to 250. Then, so 250 in start of September as well. We're seeing 464 in late September in dollars, 400 euros. And then we see 500 euros, $500 in October, 580 later on in this month. And then it did then hit 650 a few days ago, and now we are looking at 800. Again, this is, these are trial decks. There is no new supply. We will see Origins booster boxes reprinted for the next few years. We will never see new prints of these trial decks. If you can still get in at this price, just get in. Don't concern yourself too much about a £100 dip, $100 dip, $20 dip. In 5 years' time, what difference will $100 or $200 make when this is at a greater price point? Again, I always say it's either something you want to put in so you can get your money back, in terms of the initial price plus inflation, or you would like to see it actually grow in value while you have an item that you do love. So I would say get in if you can. It's very liquid. People do want these boxes, so at the very least you can leave if you don't want this sitting on your shelf anymore. So just one to be mindful of. Looking at Project K prices again, and sorry, I was beginning to work on a sheet, but I gave up for now. I'll start collating these properly over time. Looking at some Project K cards, we saw two sets of the Misfortune. Two sets of a number of cards from multiple trial decks. So we see Jinx, Yasuo, and Volibear trial decks from the PSA from the Project K 2024 decks. Again, the ones that I really sought after were seeing 20k in offers and so and so. This shows for $6,000 that it was sold for. This says 2,100. Both by the same seller. Again, the same seller that has the 2024 box. I threw it into 130 sales. We are actually seeing about 2,000-ish for this. This was definitely sold at a discount. I think he just wanted to offload the cards, as we are seeing, for example, this Jinx card alone go for 1,200. And these two Misfortunes go for roughly 600 each. With PSA 10, so with PSA, the actual company that grades, they also sell some themselves. And Tryndamere was seeing similar. So he wanted a bit of a discount, trying to offload some cards. Probably put the money into purchasing some cases. I'll have a Riftbound, maybe Onepiece, Pokemon, whichever TCG he's interested in, to be honest. So we saw a sale, as I mentioned, by PSA for the Volibear Relentless Storm card for 1,400. Again, these cards will hardly be found in the wild. Just think of it as memorabilia. It's essentially the holy grails in terms of the items to collect in Riftbound. Not for the design. Again, these are very basic designs, but it's the fact that these are so rare, and these were the first attempt by the designers in creating a game. So it's just a memorabilia and almost what's the word? It's not a combination, but it's the manifestation of the life they've put into the game at the time, and it's definitely one to keep as a token, to be honest. We have, as I mentioned, the Misfortune sold itself for 600 on its own. As I mentioned, this person was probably just trying to sell at a discount, get some money, some liquid money to then purchase other things. We see here that the Volibear also sold with Dawn Day deals. It shows for 600, but if we actually look, it was for 490 because a best offer was given. Again, these are cards to just pick up. If I ever could, I would grab these. If they show up in a card show one day, I would just grab them and hold them myself. But again, these are so rare to grab. I'm in the UK. It's very unlikely that we will see many here. I trust that if you are in the US, you will see many more show up in vendor card shows as you go around, to those. And then lastly, just a Chinese set of each legend card. Again, if you guys don't know, we have a UK Discord for Riftbound, and in this Discord I gave away each of these cards as I had opened up the Chinese box just for the sake of opening something, and I'd given away each of the gave away the Yasuo, the Victor, and the Volibear, and I gave away the Jinx box itself, the trial deck box, to someone, and that's probably worth a good amount of money at the moment. So if you are in the UK and you do want to join the Riftbound Discord, you know, we do giveaways. It's great. People are opening cards. People are pulling overnumbered old arts. It's great. The link will be in the description. As I mentioned, I'll most likely do a giveaway at some point for a booster box or free winners to have 8 packs each, booster packs each. So again, what to be mindful of. So just one of the things we've given away in the let me just close this tab. Given away in the Discord. So just going back to another card, we had discussed the Ari promo PSA 10. The one I said I don't think should be this amount. I still don't think it should be this amount. But again, it's a launch exclusive. It's a promo card. We are seeing premiums on this. Again, it's just the basic Ari card. It's the Ari artwork we're seeing in League of Legends. Of course, it's a good artwork. You know, I can't actually remember the old artwork from way back in like 2013, but this has been the artwork maybe since 2016, 2015. But you know, we have seen it climb slowly. The last time we discussed it, it was sitting at 1,000. Someone has now purchased it for 1.25, so that's a 25% increase on that price. You know, total PSA 10 population is very low, but over time we should see that increase. But again, this is a very limited edition card. It's a very limited stock card. They aren't printing anymore. But I trust that somewhere someone has a garage full of these from Riot Games, or maybe they've all been given out. I don't know, but we should see the PSA 10 and the total PSA population climb over time. So that's just one to keep an eye out for. Okay, again, this might be a shorter video. I don't know. But moving on to the 2025 Riftbound sales, we are seeing sales across the board, and particularly we are seeing more and more signature cards being sold, and now that's a very good thing. It's good to know they are being pulled, but it's also good to see not the ceiling but the current ceilings for effectively this set. You know, these are the highest sought after cards, and you know, for a while we will not see any PSA 10s. Once we do, that will open up a whole other conversation. Once we start to see Beckett black labels, Beckett pristine 10s, gold labels, these will open up a wider conversation about the real hungry appetite for League of Legends players, because the appetite is there. You know, you can't see it right now, but League of Legends fans are rabid and foaming at the mouth for the opportunity to have cards like this. People like to collect things for their champions. In the UK Riftbound Discord, we have someone who is very into Misfortune. I had actually given him 2 of my Project K Misfortune cards in Chinese, as he had asked for them. Of course, I gave it to him at a price. I wasn't really selling it for the price. I wanted to give it to him because he clearly wants the Misfortune cards. So I gave it at a price that would respect, you know, the cards themselves. It wasn't much, but you know, he was very happy. So that should be with him today or tomorrow. But people, you know, will collect cards that they want based on the champions that they play, that they've you know, they've grown up with. They've sort of, you know, pushed so many hours of their time into. So do see really interesting numbers for these cards, and so I am just excited to see over time the appetite for, you know, collecting these items, especially the signature items, because these aren't easy to pull. You know, we are looking at 1 in 30 boxes, so that's 1 in 5 cases to get an overnumbered signature. Of course, people are getting lucky. It might be the first pack you pull. You know, you might just go to the corner to the store, buy a pack, and you know, Bob's your uncle. You've just found yourself a signature card. It's not common, of course, but these are happening. These things are happening. So anyway, The Misfortune overnumbered card we see here with the strike out, of course, that there has been a best offer accepted. So we do see this selling for 1,350. Again, a very strong price. This has surprised me. I wasn't really seeing Misfortune as one to be at this price. I was thinking maybe 1,000 max. Even that was a bit of a stretch. I was thinking 800. But what we are seeing is that these are actually really rare to get. Well, I say that I'm jumping the gun. We are just early days. Ultimately, 1.3k, very early days. Not everyone has their hands on booster boxes. This is the first wave of cards showing up. We should see more and more into the market. However, I personally think if we are seeing 1.35k right now, we will see a stable market of above £900 for these signature cards. I think that's a number that is going to be perhaps, I don't know, maybe let's say respectful of the life put into this this game, the life put into League of Legends. I think that's how the market is seeing and visualizing and absorbing these cards. Absorbing might not be the word, but taking in the life that has been breathed into these cards. We then see the Volibear signature as well, and let me also just zoom into this card. It's a very gorgeous card, the Misfortune signature. I love the signature cards, and we will see more and more in the orange tab in the top right corner. Those are just more cards we're seeing in the wild. They haven't yet sold. Some of them are asking for exorbitant prices, so they have not yet sold. But of course, we are seeing those in the wild, and we'll see more signature cards. Volibear card, again, gorgeous card, and with the signature, centering looks good. So this could definitely be one for grading, but the edge maybe is having an issue over here. But let's see. This one sold for 1,100. Again, a great price. I'm sure whoever pulled it was very, very happy. We see here the Teemo. Again, I'm not a fan of the regular Teemo, but this signature is a very pretty signature. We're seeing here a price of 1,000 for the sale. Again, we're seeing very high prices, for these sales. The game has just come out, and we are seeing excessive prices. And it's fascinating because, Pokemon will see cards worth maybe 500, 600, especially when they've just come out. Normally 300. So we are seeing a different. I personally believe we are seeing a different type of character, as I've said in the past, come into the Riftbound space compared to those that are in Pokemon. I would say they are a bit more mature and a bit more. I don't want to say have more disposable money, because of course you have people who are Pokemon fans that will spend hundreds of thousands for these items. But I think the general consumer of these Riftbound items are one that are of, are people that are a bit more mature. Their money is more mature, so it may not be a kid just trying to spend what they have. I think these are adults that have synced in hours into this game that are willing with their disposable money to purchase these items as a collectible. Whereas Pokemon is usually either a much younger audience, maybe a kid in his 20s, or you're seeing maybe the die-hard adult that has grown up with Pokemon. But that's a conversation for another day in terms of the quality and type of character that is in the Riftbound space. People that have consumed League of Legends for 10 hours a day for months on end, years on end, that have really sunk in time to these characters to really have a strong attachment, as opposed to a character that, Pokemon characters are quite flat. It is a child, a franchise at the end of the day, child / younger / teenager, borderline / young adult. So these characters don't have as much depth as, say, a Kaisa, a lucian, where they have lore. They have laws that are tied to other characters, and I could say more, but it goes in deep. So there is a deep attachment. So you will see that attachment show up in the price and the value of these cards. So do expect to see a very expensive TCG in terms of the overall prices, values of these cards, compared to, say, something like Pokemon. Of course, Pokemon has its value. I'm sure someone in watching this is saying that's crazy. Pokemon has so much value, but of course, what I mean to say is because we're so early into this, the fact that we're seeing these sort of prices already speaks to what the potential depth of this market will be like. So yeah. Okay, another item. So Ari as a buy now has sold for $950 in terms of the signature. Of course, we had seen the bid of Ari a few days ago climb up to $1,300, but we're seeing a buy now. I am not surprised. Someone saw that price. Someone saw this, and they probably saw the bid and said, "I am going to grab this because this is a snag," and I'm not mad at them. So we finally seen a Kaisa overnumbered card. This is probably my favorite. I'd say Ari and Kaisa, these are my favorite cards from the set. Again, I've said it before. I think this Ari card gives major Jargon vibes. Jargon was a manga, came out some time ago. It has finished. Crazy anime, crazy manga, very dark. But I just feel like it has, probably has put inspiration from this. I could be wrong. Maybe it's from somewhere else. But this card here sold for 310. Very strong price for a standard overnumbered. It's not the signature. I do wonder what the signature will go for. We then saw another one his Kaisa was 2 days ago. We then saw another one sell today for 684. So that lets me know that the 300 price, it was not only low. Let's just say it was low. What we're seeing here, 684, is again that the appetite for these cards is there, and it doesn't surprise me that we have hit this number. Kaisa is beloved. I can't remember how long Kaisa's been in the game for now. I want to say since 2017, 2018. I could be slightly, I'm pretty sure it's around those numbers. Kaisa has been loved for so long. Her lore is great. There's depth to these characters, so it does not surprise me that someone who has sunk in over 1,000 hours, 2,000 hours, 3,000 hours into that one character has seen this card for $684 and said, "I will buy this in a heartbeat." And so we will see this across the board. So I am very excited for this market because I do appreciate that it is a mature market in that we are seeing collectors who have sunk in so many hours and created such an emotional attachment with these characters, and then we are then seeing the output or the outcome or the manifestation of their attachment showing up in these prices when these sales happen. So it's nice. It is fun to see these prices as opposed to I see a Pokemon card of I see Espeon, I see Umbreon, and it sells for a pretty penny, and sure, it's a good looking card, and I like Umbreon also. I played not all the Pokemon games. I stopped playing after Generation 3, to be honest, but I've played enough of the earlier games to have an appreciation for Pokemon. But the attachment can only go so far because ultimately there's no depth to these characters. So it's cool to see that a card is selling for $1,000 or £1,000 in Pokemon, but when there's no real attachment, and it's just sort of you can't knock on nostalgia. No, nostalgia is a good thing, but when it's not nostalgia and people just think it's a card favorite of theirs, again, I never knock what people do. I don't judge. I just don't think there's as strong an attachment to warrant that price. But then again, in Pokemon as well, there are people with deep wallets, but there are also people that are less mature that will sink into their wallet for an item. So it's a different space, and you will have young people who have parents with deep wallets, and they will say, "I really want this card because it's a Pokemon I love," for example. Very different landscape we're walking into. Very different to One Piece. Very different to Pokemon. Most likely very different to Magic the Gathering. This is a very unique TCG that we are walking into, and I hope you guys will enjoy the journey I bring you in with, because I will be having this sort of analysis moving forward. There is a lot of analysis to be had for this TCG. We then see Volibear, the non-signature, selling for about 150. It was listed as 350. There was a best offer given, as you can see by the strikeout. We're looking at $150. So is that a bit cheap? Yes, but ultimately it is the best offer. He listed it, or she listed it as 350. Someone gave the offer of 150, and he said, "Why not? Let me just buy it. Let me just sell it at that price." We've seen sales of this at 300. Maybe he thought, the TCG isn't out yet. I can make a flip and sell it at that price. But over time, we will see it stabilize, and there will be less of these really, really heavy fluctuations in terms of sale prices. So I believe this is the same bid we saw before, where I had said that it was really priced really below, but the bid did start at $1. It did end up selling for $200, so I'm not mad at it. Ced is a good card. It's not the most beloved character. Again, he doesn't have much depth to him. He is not new. I think he came out maybe 2020. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've checked. So he isn't as loved. He's a top lane character. Top lane's the least played role. And he's supposed to just be some, not, what's the word? They say, you know, edgelord or, you know, some nonsense. But, you know, he is still very much an appreciated character. And it doesn't surprise me that the 219 mark, $200 mark is what we've seen. It could still be 250, and again, we will see as more and more of the collectors enter the space that actually the price will probably increase a bit. So we see the misfortune, the overnumbered. I think the same seller because they're both dark. Where is the light? $200 for the misfortune non-overnumbered. So you know the overnumbered sold for 1.3k, and we are seeing that the standard one sold for 200, so quite a drop below. We see here, I believe I mentioned before, we see here a sale of 200, where before, you know, we had seen much more. So we saw here 310, we saw here 684, and then we saw here 200. I just wanted to post to include this to say that we are going to see fluctuations. People will grab it at what price is offered effectively, but we are then seeing people then, you know, this is a lot more closer to the price of, and not this one, where am I? You know, the price of this one, which sold for about $300. We see this one then sell for 200. You know, people are effectively just throwing numbers into the wild. We don't know the value of the value of the cards are always subjective, but the idea is we don't know the value of these cards until someone throws it onto the website at a price. They offered it at 200, someone took it. The other person offered it at 310, someone took it. The other person here threw it in at $684, someone took it. So it's essentially we are trying to create that stabilized price at the moment, which will take a long time. Again, the game hasn't even launched, but we are seeing effectively people, not only the appetite, and I think that word will stick for a while, but we are seeing, you know, that people will just take it at prices that they, you know, they are that are listed effectively, that are reasonable prices. And then we see this price here. This is again most likely a collector that has seen it and does value it at $684. So if we keep moving on, we see a Jinx. First Jinx I've seen sold, actually, the Jinx overnumbered. Surprised that again it's not doing as much as it is. It sold for 250. I think that's fine. I think again it will take a while for the hype around Jinx to grow. Naturally being an arcane character, and also a character that has been around for I think she came out 2013, the same year I joined, so she's been around for a long time. She's a fan favorite. I think her price will go up over time, but again, a very beloved card. And we see it selling for for 180, so a lot lower than I thought. I still think that if someone puts this for, say, $300, someone will buy it for $300 personally. We are still seeing the early days of this. Then we are seeing the Victor card. The Victor card here sold for 171. Again, savage cards. We're probably going to be seeing a lot of these guys very dark with their camera. Again, I value this at least $300. But again, it's early days. Victor, you know, the character, the type of person you see that plays with Victor. Personally, I don't expect them to be in the TCG just yet. They're probably still playing League of Legends as we speak. I'm sure they're in a game as we speak. So I think over time, as it gets promoted, we will see that price go up in value. Absolutely. It's at least, for me, about 350 minimum in price. So we see a Leona overnumbered. Again, I had pulled this in Chinese. It was great. We have seen it sell for, so we see two listings here. Sorry, let me just drag it here. One best offer at 220, one listed at 220, one listed at 130, and both have a best offer accepted. And we are seeing 150 and 120. I'm not surprised by that price. Again, it is a support character. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous card. But being that it is a support character, you will see a lower price than these. I do still expect this to go up to about 200, 220. as its ceiling for now, until of course once these cards go out of print, just expect every single one of them to skyrocket to just numbers that won't make sense to the common person. But we can discuss that over time. We have many years to discuss these things, so we will discuss them, as time goes by. Then something I thought I just wanted to put in. I didn't know this card existed. It's super cute. Everyone loves Teemo and everyone hates Teemo, but this is a gorgeous promo card. It's just gorgeous. I would love to have a copy of this myself. It's sold for 100. It's just a cute Teemo card. Everyone hates Teemo, but he can still be a cute character. When he's not invisible and killing you with his poison mushrooms. So this sold for 100. The Kaisa, I'll finish this video at this piece. I won't discuss the ones in the wild because this will be too long of a video. The Inquisitive Ari alt art sold for 100. Again, very gorgeous card. This is going to be a very high in demand card. We are seeing the an additional one which sold for about $75, if I remember correctly. $75 at best offer. And then lastly, just one of it out of interest, the Kaisa standard champion unit sold for $50. Again, it just goes to highlight the interest in these characters. To pull this card isn't hard. Again, we are seeing early numbers, but to pull these cards, it's not hard. But there are people that want to collect, cards for the champion that they really like. So that's why we are seeing prices like this. I do expect this to go down over time. It won't be $50 for long. We will see this flooded in the market. These basic champion units. I have a ton of them. As I mentioned, I've been waiting for my penny sleeves. I run out of penny sleeves, but I pulled the Alt Leona. I pulled this set. I've pulled a few things, but these aren't hard to pull, and these are the alternate. If I look, have I seen one? No, but I've pulled a few standard full art champion units like this. So it's not going to be hard to find these. So these will go down in value, in price, not in value, because again, I think the value of these cards, it's rude to say the value when it relates to the attachment a person has with these characters, again, that they've sunk in hours of very deep, mentally consuming, mentally rewarding, and mentally, what's the word? Not stimulating, but the mental capacity you have to have and allocate to a game like League of Legends, where you really hone in on your champion, is significant. Has a lot of depth to it, and is one to be appreciated, to be honest. So the price will go down, but the value will stay the same. These are good cards, and they are appreciated heavily by the League of Legends community. Okay, we're gonna leave it there. I'm pretty sure this is gone over 30 minutes. Again, I want to try to keep these between 20 and 30 minutes. Probably gone over slightly. What are your thoughts on the market so far? Have you had your booster box arrive? If it has, what are your pulls? Again, I will do, probably after this video, I will record myself opening the Outward booster box, and I should hopefully have that out for Friday, or maybe Saturday, just depending on when I release this video. But I'll probably try to release this video later today. It's currently 5:50 in the afternoon in the UK. Hopefully this gets to, I release this around 7 PM today. Okay, let me know your thoughts. As usual, like, comment, subscribe. Stick around. There's a lot of analysis to be done. It's a good space. Should be good fun. Cool. Cedo cards out, and have a good day or evening, or I don't know.